The notion that the science on climate change is a lie to manipulate Christians is a misconception that has been perpetuated by some groups. This claim suggests that climate change is a hoax, and that scientists, politicians, and other stakeholders are colluding to deceive the public, particularly Christians, into accepting a false narrative. However, this assertion is not supported by empirical evidence and is based on a flawed understanding of the scientific consensus on climate change. Firstly, the overwhelming majority of climate scientists agree that human activities, particularly the emission of greenhouse gases such as carbon dioxide and methane, are significantly contributing to the rise in global temperatures. This consensus is based on decades of research, observations, and data analysis by thousands of scientists from around the world. The evidence for human-induced climate change is robust and comes from multiple lines of evidence, including temperature records, melting of glaciers and ice sheets, sea level rise, and shifts in the distribution of plants and animals. The idea that climate change is a lie to manipulate Christians is often rooted in a misunderstanding of the relationship between science and faith. Some proponents of this claim argue that climate change is a secular or liberal agenda, and that Christians are being misled into accepting a worldview that is antithetical to their values. However, this perspective ignores the fact that many Christians, including theologians, clergy, and laypeople, are actively engaged in climate change advocacy and see it as a moral and spiritual imperative. In fact, many Christian denominations and organizations have issued statements and taken actions to address climate change, recognizing it as a threat to God's creation and a matter of social justice. For example, the Vatican, under the leadership of Pope Francis, has been a vocal advocate for climate action, emphasizing the need to protect the planet and promote sustainable development. Similarly, the Evangelical Environmental Network, a coalition of evangelical Christians, has been working to raise awareness about climate change and promote biblical stewardship of the environment. Moreover, the claim that climate change is a lie to manipulate Christians is often based on a flawed understanding of the motivations behind climate change research and policy. While it is true that some individuals and organizations may have political or economic interests in promoting climate change mitigation and adaptation efforts, the vast majority of scientists and stakeholders are motivated by a genuine concern for the well-being of the planet and its inhabitants. It is also worth noting that the tactics used to promote the idea that climate change is a lie to manipulate Christians are often based on misinformation, cherry-picking of data, and ad hominem attacks on scientists and climate change advocates. This approach undermines the integrity of the scientific process and creates a polarized and divisive debate, which is unhelpful in addressing the complex and pressing issue of climate change. In conclusion, the science on climate change is not a lie to manipulate Christians. The evidence for human-induced climate change is overwhelming, and the scientific consensus on this issue is clear. While there may be differing opinions on the best ways to address climate change, the idea that it is a hoax or a plot to manipulate Christians is not supported by the evidence. Christians, like people of all faiths and backgrounds, have a moral and spiritual obligation to care for the planet and promote sustainable development. By working together and engaging in respectful and informed dialogue, we can build a more just and sustainable future for all.